hopefully this thing will.
All right, so looks like according to that little thing, it looks like we should be live on Facebook now.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Good
Hi.
afternoon, everyone. We are reflecting this evening, or this afternoon, because we always do all things health, right? All things health and beauty. So we talk about eating right. We talk about not, trying to get to our best weight or a better weight, making sure we take care of what's on the inside, making sure our skin looks good. We talk about hair. Today, we're going to talk about something that's also important, and that's dealing with grief. How does it affect our health? Because that's a real issue. This has been a hard year for a lot of people in a lot of different ways, because grief is not necessarily limited to losing a person in death. It could be grieving the loss of income, grieving the loss of freedom, like we see with a lot of our kids, all of, dealing with being shut in. All of those things are reasons for grief, but in a very real way, our body responds to this grief. Now, Michelle and I call this reflections because yesterday was 7 years since we lost our mother. We're also coming up, right behind my mommy's anniversary, so to speak, of her death. Our dad died in July of when he was really young. So it's a reflective time for us. It's summertime. It's mixed with happy times, but a lot of reflective times. And all of these things really had an effect on our health, not only now, but as we were growing up and as we were going through the issues. Both of our parents died of what we call diseases that put us in anticipatory grief at the same time. My dad had cancer, but his was quick, 6 months. My mother dealt with a litany of problems, including that dialysis and a few strokes that ended up in her death. So it's been rough, right, Michelle?
Got it, exactly.
Then we think about what does it do to our bodies. Whenever we're dealing with grief, it really increases the inflammation in our bodies, and it can worsen health problems. If you already have a health problem, grief can make those health problems worse. If you don't have a problem, it batters that immune system so much that it makes you susceptible to things, even when we talk about common colds. Just that, getting sick, just normal sick, so to speak, could bring on, but even more seriously, it can cause things like increase in blood pressure, risk of blood clots. People even talk about a broken heart syndrome, and Michelle's going to get into that. It's a form of disease that has the same symptoms of a heart attack. So it's the emotional and physical aspects of grief that we're going to talk about, and how do you get through it? Michelle, what did you experience as far as the grief when we talk about it in connection with your health?
What's interesting, you talk about the loss of dad, and I was about in my early 20s. Mm-hmm. And at that point I ate how I ate, right? And losing dad, I chose to just internalize everything. And I just went about life just how I did. I wasn't very present as to how food affected me. But as I got older, I developed all the diseases mommy had, right? The diabetes, the high cholesterol, the high blood pressure, which was onset by having a surgery. Even when mom had the stroke, how I passed out in the hospital, I was overcome with grief. And that was the first sign of my heart taking a real toll, the grief taking a real toll on my heart. So when we talk about grief, it affects your immune system. It depletes you. It makes you vulnerable to infection, increases your blood pressure. It increases those stress hormones. So by the time, we dealt with mom, and I was born with a heart defect, right? So by the time we dealt with mom, I was so devastated. And I often think back, if thank goodness I tried to eat right, because during that time when we ate, because everything was on the go, I chose a healthier version, not necessarily that it was the best, but I chose a healthier version of what I could have eaten. And I'm so thankful that I did that, because I was already in a bad place health-wise. So I don't even know, with everything that we done been through in the past year, right? I don't even know if I would have made it. So for me, really, eating better was the better choice. But what did the effect have? The stress. The stress on that grief. 4 months after, what did I have? An emergency pacemaker, right? I
Exactly.
hadn't even turned 60 yet. So an emergency pacemaker changed my life. So, when they say that when you lose someone, you have a broken heart, that's exactly what happened. And guess what? There's nothing I could do to fix that. Nothing. Just get a pacemaker replacement.
Exactly.
So
So it's real. It's real talk. Now, sometimes like you mentioned, as far as your diet was concerned, you were already focusing in because, like you said, you had the health issues before. Stress, the grief could bring on health problems or make the health problems worse. So you already keenly, I mean, when you in the hospital for your mom and you got to go to the emergency room, there's no better way to keenly tell you that I need to fix me because I'm not, my body can't deal with this well. So, but sometimes we don't have those overt wake up calls, right?
exactly.
So it was so good that you had that.
Because the illness had already manifested itself. So I knew, I bet, like, you got to change something.
Exactly. So you were making those good positive changes. I asked somebody to turn off the oven and it doesn't look like anyone.
I wasn't perfect though. I want to make sure that was clear. I wasn't perfect. I just chose healthier, because what I know now, I didn't know then. I just knew how I felt when I ate differently.
Yeah. And see, and I know for me, it was like, for me, the mental effort it takes. And so that's why I'm saying we understand the mental effort it takes to choose right was just like, it was like, I couldn't deal with anything but going the day-to-day motions. And see, I was long distance. You guys were closer. You were also long distance, was not as far as I was.
Right.
There, it was like everything that you're dealing with all of these things secondhand. So you feel that feeling of helplessness.
Helplessness, yeah.
So I could imagine, I can feel for those who were dealing with this during a COVID, when you can't even be there. Oh my God, we understand, because that's that kind of feeling. You're trapped in your situation. And of course, what sometimes we do is go for something that's going to make us feel good, like that comfort food. And so what we're encouraging is, if you are, or if you know people that are dealing with grief, help them to see that grief has real health detriment. It can really affect your health in a bad way. So we have to do what we can. When we think about it affecting our health in a bad way, when we have our body releases cortisone, that flight hormone, when we're under stress. Well, when we're continually releasing that cortisone in our system, it really affects our thalamus, and that manufactures those white cells that we need to be able to fight off infection throughout our system. Well, if we're not doing that, if our white cells aren't working, we are breaking down and we won't be around for those we love. So we have to take a real look at making sure we're doing everything we can to be around for those that we love in spite of the grief. Because we're not dealing with the health, the mental health issues of the grief with this discussion, but making those choices, starting at the grocery store, right? Because if we don't bring it in the house, then it's not going to be able to be consumed, right? Bring the stuff in Even if we just got to write a list one time and just keep that in the house. Keep those fresh vegetables in the house. Keep those fruits in the house. Keep those lean meats or beans in the house so that you can make maybe a big pot of soup, a big pot of chili, eat off of that with some salad and not have to just kind of autopilot a healthy lifestyle. Also, a healthy supplement is recommended, like Juice Plus, which is just your fruits, vegetables, your berries, your omegas and capsules that make it very easy to just autopilot. Take some. My body I'm giving my body something to fight with, right? Because while we're in the grief and while we're dealing with our loved ones who are on these long-term illnesses, we have got to take care of the inside of our own bodies so that we can be around for someone else, right?
Yeah, exactly. So,
and so, you know, that was our main focus for today. You know, when we're dealing with it, it can be debilitating, but it does get better. And we're here to tell you we're what, 20 some years in with Daddy? No, over almost 40 years in
40
with
years.
Daddy's, and just 7 with Mommy's death. So we lost both parents. Us and our siblings, all of us have had to deal with the health issues that come from grieving. And so we need to just like to help people to see that there is something that you can do. It's not in your head that, am I sicker or I'm just acting like it because, you know, my husband is sick. No, it's not in your head. It's what happens.
Yeah,
but
46 years.
46 years.
46 years with Dad. And
It's
it
amazing.
feels like yesterday.
It's amazing. It's amazing how that happens.
7 with Mom. Yeah, so, you know, we wanted to just leave you guys with this today. Take your health back. Know that grief is real, as we all know, right? But how we eat has an effect on our health. And even if you just make one simple change, and that's why, you know, we both support and really believe in, and we do it ourselves. We believe in our supplementing our health with our over 40 fruits and vegetables, over 30, excuse me, fruits and vegetables in our diet. And I have to take a little extra. That's because of my heart. But do it. Do it for yourself. Do it for your family, you know, because you can change things. So hope you guys have a great day. Hope you had a great day. Some are celebrating their day today. May whatever you do it in good health. Okay? Have a great day. And sis, as always, I love you.
Love you too. Love you too. And shout out to my sisters and brother.
Yes,
okay?
My brother, my sisters in different cities. Yes.
Y'all been through this too. So I love to see it. We don't forget y'all.
Exactly. Take care. Bye-bye.